So last week we were working on the Watermaker, and I've had lots of fun playing with 24 volt AC control electronics. So let us show you where we got to.
I'm Daria, this is Chris, and that's Jasper. These are Luna and Lily, and this is Ragdoll, our floating home. After 2 years on a 47-foot monohull, we moved onto a Catamaran in December 24. So far, we visited almost 10 countries and we share it all. Work, homeschooling, storms and sunsets, no script, just wind, waves and the endless blue. Subscribe and enjoy the episode.
Look
are our fancy door handles. Wow!
So for a year we've been working with a Watermaker that has no electrical control. It's a former Aquabase YK3 which has an integrated circuit control logic for itself. So it would decide when the HP pump comes on or the freshwater flush valve goes on based on parameters, logic, sensors, timing, that sort of thing. And it never worked. So someone in the past has changed that to a dumb Watermaker running on switches. A dumb Watermaker running on switches is a good idea because it removes the need for proprietary parts. So that little control board from Aquabase was made in 2008 and no longer exists. If you can find it, great. If you can, probably costs a fortune. What we've done is we've replaced it all the logic, all the control with commercial off-the-shelf pieces, and it's dumb. Okay, it takes a little bit of thinking to use it properly, but if anything fails here, any little electrical shop will have it off the shelf. All the automation you really need is your flush valves, which are below the floor, turning on and off the pumps, and the product valves. The rest is needle valve, which you do have to do manually one way or another. So that's what we've been working on, and trying to get that sort of trickle side set up. I've got a box here. In here is 230 volts AC coming in. There's 24 volt AC and there's 24 volt DC. And it all has a specific purpose and a set of breakers or relays or only open and only closed buttons to make it all sing and dance. Yeah. What? Okay.
We're not allowed to eat the walls.
So there's the box of tricks that we've been working on, and it's all kind of doing what it should do now. So you flick the main breaker on, got a nice wee panel showing you've got 230 volts available. I've got two lights down here showing me that the breakers are engaged. That's good. These switches are mostly 24 volt AC, and they trigger relays to run the various pumps. So there's the feed pump coming on below the sole now. The HP pump is now starting properly. And that hum you heard as it starts up, that's the start coil and the start capacitor doing its thing. Over here we've now got product valves and feed valves doing their thing too. And then you've got, just down here, I don't have the feed valves installed yet, but these just help me with the logic. So when the thing turns on, that's the product valve, the overboard valve for the product open. And then just flicking that, it now opens the other one. So that then sends it to the tank. So yeah, it's all sitting waiting for the next bits of the project.
So we're just going to show you inside the panel in just a second.
And this is 100% better. I've been sitting working on this for a couple of nights, and to try and do anything like this while it was in the engine room would have just been miserable. You'd be hanging off the back of the boat, dropping tools in the sea. You'd have the heat exchanger from the engine in your back, or a hose clamp in your ribs from something. It was just 100% rubbish in the engine compartment. So nowadays, actually working on the Watermaker is a rainy day project, or a pleasant experience in which you're not likely to fall off the back of the boat.
Go.
There we go, so here's inside it. It looks more complicated than it really is. But main power comes in. Main power feeds the two breakers for the pumps. The little transformer here provides 24 volt AC for the control of the relays. These are the two relays, so the buttons on the front panel activate them to turn on mains 230 volt AC to the two big pumps. Then the 24 volt control logic sits there. There's a little power supply up here, and that provides power for the product valves. They're 24 volt DC. And then on the back panel of the thing, so you've got the two big 230 volt motors, low pressure and high pressure. You've got the flush valves, so they're run on 230 volt AC, and then you've got the two product valves, and they're run on 24 volt DC. Down here you've got the main power incoming switch, a little meter, and here's the sensor for the meter, and down there is just a little power on light. But what we did was we directed it towards the flow meter so you could actually see it. A lot of the bits here were salvaged from the old YK3 Aquabase Watermaker, and I remember opening that box for the first time and thinking, I will never for the life of me figure this out. It just, when I take the panel off, it just burst out with wires and I had no idea what I was looking at. It's been great fun doing this project because I've learned a lot about 24 volt control electronics, which is quite ubiquitous in industrial motor control. So this kind of stuff is available everywhere. You know, factories, shops, machinery, everywhere runs on 230 volt single or three phase, and it's most often than not 24 volt AC or DC control signal. So yeah, it's available everywhere. It's cheap, and it's relatively easy to understand and work on once you get your head around it.
Busy. Go.
So on the floor is the two wires that go to the flushing valves. We've got two valves below the floor here. One valve opens up the Watermaker to the sea, and the other valve opens up the Watermaker to the freshwater system on the boat. And the idea is when the power to the Watermaker is off, both valves are shut. When you turn the Watermaker power on, it opens up the Watermaker to the sea so it can take seawater and produce it. And then when you hit the flush valve, it shuts that valve and opens the freshwater valve to let freshwater in to flush the system. So that's the logic of it. And then when you're finished freshwater flushing and you turn that off and you shut the Watermaker down, it closes both valves. So it's safe from that point of view. You can leave the main sea cock open, and then the next valve in line is the seawater flushing valve, or seawater main valve. So that's what the two cables on the floor here are for. So when I turn the Watermaker on, you can see my little lights here just testing the control logic. Watermaker power on. That light represents the open signal to the seawater valve. Then I hit the flush valve. It opens the freshwater valve and shuts the seawater valve, and vice versa. And then when I turn the Watermaker off, both valves shut. So that's the idea. So at the moment we're still waiting on a couple of bits and pieces. We're waiting on two flush side valves, which are sort of valves that you would find in a central heating system, like the motorised zone control valves. They operate on 230 volt AC, so that's what they're going to do. And the other two valves we're waiting for is the production side and they're solenoid valves that you would find in coffee maker or a freshwater system. It's just little 3/8 solenoid control valves. So we're waiting on that. We're waiting on a couple of check valves, and the good thing about that is it's all on Amazon, always available from some, local plumbers who can do central heating valves or check valves. Our philosophy on board is to replace things and have systems that are commercial, off the shelf, easily available, quick to find, available everywhere and cheap. So this is the space that we found to fit the membranes for this Watermaker. We had these membranes before in the engine room, and they were in an impossible to service place. It was really difficult to get them out. This is a much better place. We've now got new hydraulic hoses that are all nicely refreshed for this. We've built in GRP upstands to keep it up off the floor a bit and keep it supported. The bilge has been painted out. Before we removed that from the engine room, we pickled it, so that's been flushed through with sodium metabisulfate preservative, and that's great. So it's all ready to go. We're getting there. Once we've got the flush valves and the product valves in place and all wired in, this Watermaker will be ready to fire up. So while we've been filming these pieces of the Watermaker, we've just had a 40 odd knot gust come through. Yeah, it was only for a few seconds, but certainly got loud for a minute. The weather for the last couple of days has been pretty
dynamic.
It's not been pretty. It's a lot out of the west and the northwest. Out at sea, there's up to 4, 5, 6 metre waves in parts of the Mediterranean above us. The Cata last night had 40 knots as well. So yeah, we've got another day or two of this gusting, squalls.
We already had a few 40, 50 knot gusts.
The marina staff here at Roland have been really good. They're very present. They're out changing lines and adjusting things and checking things all the time. Can't fault them. They're really good. And it's been pretty good here. It's a good direction for us. We're on the blow-off side of the pontoon, so as long as the pontoon stays in one place, we're okay. A lot of the boats on the windward side are dancing around a bit, but we're okay.
And it's meant we've had plenty of time to work inside on things.
Yeah, and these two jokers are finding ways to amuse themselves as well. Lots of games of take, no take. Hello, Lou. Wag, wag. You take, no take? You play with Lily? Get it.
Got any questions or thoughts? Leave them in the comment section below. We always enjoy hearing from you. Thanks for watching, and till next time!